Hello friends over at YouTube. This is Travis Simulan Sowers, and we're jumping into a science draft. This draft is for science. You may think that my picks are unconventional, but I'm going to attempt to metagame the metagame. I'm not avoiding something, I'm going to try to force something. I haven't told chat what the theory is yet, and I'm not going to tell you yet either. I'll explain it as we begin going, if I can actually manage to do it. That said, if you're watching on YouTube, consider checking out the stream at some point. It's at twitch.tv/Simulan. You can hop in the Discord to get access to the giveaways. We'll be starting in August. I've got a nice bundle of stuff that we're going to start with. I was going to show it to you, but it looks like this is starting. Can confirm. We've got a bundle of stuff we're giving away there, and you can always subscribe to the YouTube channel to get the latest draft videos, some of which will be incredibly competitive. Now, what I'm doing now, I think will work in best of 3. I am not planning to do this in the sweatsuit tournaments. I think a tournament, you're still better off trying to draft what's open. But I think I may have found my Mardu for this set, and I'm just going to see if I'm right. If I'm not, you know, whatever, we lose 1,500 gems and I lost a draft. I've been losing a lot in this format anyway. But if I've actually found something I can do consistently, well then. I have played it before. Bonjour, Martin. So when I'm referencing Mardu, Andy, I'm referencing the people that watched me when I came back to Magic in Ikoria, where everybody was fighting over the cycling deck, and I just wanted to get into the Mardu Sacrifice deck. And it was so good, and I couldn't lose. That was an abusable metagame. And I've been kind of looking for something like that in every set since, and I haven't managed to find it. I may have here. So we're gonna see if I'm right. So you're gonna see me ignore some cards that I normally wouldn't ignore. But fortunately, one of the cards I'm not going to ignore is Ochre Jelly, because it fits right into what I want to do. What's up, Wombat? So we're just going to first pick an Ochre Jelly and be pretty happy. I'm giving you guys just a minute so you can try to think about what I'm doing. And then you will understand. See if you can guess the next card. Because I already know my color pair. Paladin class is insane. What are we taking here, my team? Yeah, everybody's figured it out. So here's the thing about green-white life gain. Generally speaking, at a table, everybody's fighting over black-red. Cool. Enjoy your fight. What they're not fighting over is green-white life gain. I've played this rare. It's very good. It's very good. Is Druid any good? The Druid class? So here's what's happening. We're going to draft plenty of 2-drops, plenty of things that gain life. Against the red-black decks, we can just block them and gain life on blocks, and then eventually stabilize with an arbitrarily large thing, like a land token or a big Ochre Jelly. And against the other decks, we can just play fair magic, but we're starting at 40 life. If we happen to get some payoffs, cool. If we don't, who cares? It's not like we're like going super in debt. Like, imagine this costs 3. That's a whole different story. Then you're only doing it if you've got really good payoffs. But it doesn't. It's a 2-mana 2/2 with lifelink. That's absurd. So we're not even looking at any other colors. We are green-white and we are green-white life gain. Now, typically you would see the owlbear here and kind of go nuts, right? Which I appreciate. I do like an owlbear, and we're going to be taking some. But this Moonblessed Cleric already gets me my Druid class. We're going to find a Minimus Containment, and I plan on getting a Cleric class too, because nobody will take it. So come on in, buddy. What about removal, Travis? It's okay, we got that too. It's here, don't worry. And like, there's still pieces that we'd be happy to play. Still here. And we're getting premium removal for our color pair, pick 5. Because everybody wants black and red cards. Y'all go ahead. Good morning, Orcish. And it's possible there will be drafts where it's not correct to do this. And if I sit down and start a draft and there's an insanely good black rare and a steadfast paladin, I'm going to take the rare. Which is fine, we'll do that. But this draft was for science, just to see if I sit down and decide I'm these colors, what do we do? Not enough people listen to me, Render, and there's nothing wrong with blue. I've had a lot of good blue-green decks. And like, they're here, you can play them, but I mean, here we're actually getting a decent payoff card for gaining some life. And we could play a giant too, nothing wrong with that. Herbalist is an acceptable 2-drop, and see, blue is still open. That's fine. This isn't really the 2-drop I want, although we could play it. What I'm interested in is a plummet for my sideboard. Blue is open. I don't care, because this is what I want to be doing. It's just better. Gretchen has been a speed bump while 3/1 goblins just attack into her and don't care. If Gretchen was a 1/4, I think she would be absurd and probably need to be rare. Like, okay, cool. I guess we'll just take all these good cards. Pegasus is fine. We can throw a paladin in the air. I do like a choose your weapon. It's main deckable flyer hate, and I don't need to overload on Pegasus Eye. Need any of this? Yeah, River Hoopo was just way better than Gretchen. I do too, Andy. I'm just not sure that we've gone quite deep enough for me to be able to abuse it, but I'm thinking we're sort of getting there. I miss River Hoopo. That was one of my favorite cards in Hour of Devastation. So good. Look at this. We're getting last pick playables for our deck. Draft red, dude.
It's been a long time, my friend, and while I haven't been able to watch as much as I'd like, you have my support.
Thank you very much, Ravis. I'll spam some cats for Ravis. Thank you, my friend. Glad to have you here. If red's always open at your table, just draft red. It's okay. You can draft red. You have my permission. I'm okay with that. We've got us an owlbear here, which I think we're pretty happy with. We could also consider the paladin. And yeah, there's some good cards here in the other colors, but I don't think we particularly care about that. There's cats you can spam. There's always free cats. This is not an exciting pack for us either, but that's all right. I've been very happy main decking a Cursed Idol. I don't think it's over Owlbear, but Null Hunter is good. It's a decent 2-drop. Yeah, I'd be happy to play a couple of those. This is essentially a stipulation draft, but it's an also, I think I found something that can win pretty consistently draft. Somehow red-black is open in this direction, which is interesting, but I mean, also fine. It is what it is. I really want to get some of the 2/3s that you can roll a dice to gain life in. I think I might have room for a +2 mace in this deck. It would be nice on the flyer. It would be nice on the paladin. I think I'll go for this. This guy's not bad. The Bard is playable. The Sentry is a playable 2-drop, but I think I'd rather have the Dwarf Hold Champion. Sure, it's good. I don't really need to overload on 3s. Because what I'd like to get is more unicorns for that slot. The Circle of the Moon Druid's fine, but I'm not really over-prioritizing it here. We're a little short on removal, but we're not short on Owl Bears, so cool. This is what I've been looking for, but You Meet in a Tavern is probably going to be too good here. The flexibility of draw 1 to 4 creatures or just overrun your opponent is pretty great. Because we should end up with about 14 to 16 creatures. I've been very happy with the Shepherd. It's essentially a 2/3 Vigilance lifelink. Sort of. Alright, getting cut a little bit here, but it's okay. Somebody's fighting me. I don't know how, but I think we're down 1 remove. Okay, maybe they're not fighting me. I think we're down 1 removal spell from where I'd like to be at this point. 15 render. 15. John and I did the math on the set review. And remember, it's a modal card. So, like, it is also just, like, your board's a little bit bigger than theirs. Cool. Send them all in. It ain't quite overrun. But it's overrun that does something when you're a little bit behind. If you're a lot of bit behind, you probably don't have time to just draw 2 creatures. But in most limited decks, this should draw you a creature about 2 shots. I don't know if I want 2 of these. I don't know if I want 1 of these. It means I should probably take the torch and then decide if we have any interest in it, because right now we don't really care about dungeons. I may have to play a combat trick without a removal spell. Yeah, it's still not quite the 3-drop I want. No, I agree. Torch isn't the worst. I don't love it, though. Like, it's so much more mana than a short sword for not that much more difference. There's an interesting one. If we think we can gain 3 life consistently, we could actually do some work with this. Problem is, I'm not sure that I can, because we're gaining life off of the paladins. So we need to combine paladin with druid class or herd gorger. Whereas we could just take spoils and have the removal that I wanted. Well, we haven't seen any potions render. It is a payoff for what we're doing, except recognize that we basically have 2 cards that interact with it. And if I don't draw those, this is 3 mana do nothing. And the one thing we don't have that we need is removal, and it's right here. So that one's going to feel a little weird, but we'll live with it. Long rest is an incredible amount of card advantage, but I don't quite have enough creatures. At this point, we're probably cutting bull strength, taking the long rest, and then just picking 2 more creatures and we're done. Oh, darn it. I don't want a Minimus Containment. I want this Innkeeper. This sucks. I'm getting too many good cards. I think the Innkeeper is just too good. Not dying to artifacts This is the best card in the pack by a lot. So we're taking it. We can find more creatures. It's going to be okay. This is a really good one, but I get to take a land here because we are not even close to worrying about playables. Any chance the book comes back? No, somebody's going to take it and try to force it late. Because basically all I need now is a couple bodies. They don't even have to be wonderful bodies. And the Basilisk is a pretty wonderful body. Right, so we're at 13 creatures, and I have room for a few more cards. I'm taking the other Minimus. If I need to cut meat in a tavern, we can do that. How many Minimuses is too many musses? Because containment number 3 makes me really happy. I probably can't run the tavern at that point. Okay. All these good cards, man. It's tough. So we're not really using the life gain here to enable anything. It's just there to help against the black-red decks. Curve purposes say take this guy, even though I really hate that card. But I may still have to play it. I'd like to get something better, but I don't think I'm gonna. Because I'm kind of just short one creature. I almost have enough to play the tavern anyway. Or I could play the Scaled Herbalist. I kind of don't want to play the Scaled Herbalist, though. Oh, I guess we could play this guy. Or that guy. Yeah, I think I could give a half-elf monk a chance. Done. Don't even mind the bullet. I don't quite think I have room for it, but it's close. Because like you kind of want to cast this for it at least 4. And I suppose I'm not like bullet is really nice when you're applying a ton of pressure and or have removal spells that can directly kill something. And only 2 of my removal spells actually kill anything. Most of our removal spells are just pacifism effects. So I don't think I quite have room for the bullet, although I can pick up some of what it is putting down. I'm trying to decide if I want to run an extra green for the long rest. I think this is probably good enough. Because I think 9/8 is probably fine. I usually end up with an Evolving Wilds, but I think as a test case for extra life, this worked out. Let's see if it actually does anything, though. Alright. Time for battle. Now this needs to do at least a 2-1, or the experiment is really not worthy. That ain't a lovely start, but I can work with it. I think ideally we'd have like a 2-drop in our open array. One sample is too small. Do it 100 times. I guess I could turn this into a 0/0. No, I can't. So why is it pausing for me? Do we just make a 2/2 jelly here? No, it literally says X can't be 0. If X can't be 0, then what's going on? I think I'm supposed to make a 2/2 jelly here. Because I just need something on this board. Don't tell me what's impossible. So what, they're going to block me after I invest all the mana to equip it? Negative. That's a negative, Ghost Rider. All right, Jock, remind me, because I may very well forget. These owlbears are looking great. I kind of need to not deal with plate armored wolves. So we're not going to deal with plate armored wolves. I mean, sure, you're going to face your colors more often than you would in a pod. Sure would like to cast these owlbears. That's why we played more green sources. I deserve this. I'm glad I played the Ochre Jelly out, because I just haven't drawn anything else. No equips is a bit odd. I guess their last card's another creature? No, it's more equipment. Okay. But this illustrates the importance of a good mana base. Good morning, Aaron. Morning is a state of mind. I think we're on having to hit the Herd Gorger now, or we're just dead. Keep us G-rated, please, Jay Brownie. Yeah, but there's nothing we can do about this. We're playing 9 green sources. We should have more green, we just don't. It is currently 2:03 p.m. Oh yeah, they can just move it around. Alright, so I think we'll want to bring in First Idol. At the very least, that seems pretty useful here. I don't think I need the Ranger against them. Although they could have some flyers, and the bodies are certainly useful. I definitely don't want to cut the Monk. I kind of need to be trimming a non-creature. So, like, cutting the mace isn't actually the worst thing. I don't think I want to play the equipment fight with them. Theirs is just better. What's up, Unnamed? Multiple colors of mana. That's interesting. Q drawing double white. Long Rest is a bit of a dud, but we do have the mana to cast it. Yeah, if we could have chained Owlbears, I think we were in business, but we couldn't. Feels a little weird to be doing this, but this is the world we're living in, and I need a bloody Owlbear next turn. I'll get it back eventually and blow something up with it. That may even be a better play. This can actually trade for the darn thing if I need to. I'd really like to be able to Spoils of the Hunt with this treasure token, but I don't think I can. I can trade this off and then get back the Cursed Idol with a Long Rest, because if they're spending their whole turn to equip, I can take a turn off to do that. Okay, that's just easily better for us. Yeah, I can chump block with the 2/2 if I have to. And I don't see a reason not to just Minimus Containment it now. Yeah, the plate, not the blink dog. Now, they have more equipments, but I suspect I can find a time to Spoils of the Hunt the blink dog if we're concerned about it. Their pause here is giving me a bit of pause because they've either disconnected or they're really thinking about what to hold up here. I have had emergency business meetings myself at times, so it could indeed be that. So I've got Sim Draft up as an emote while we've got a minute to pause. That's going to be a temporary one. That will eventually become my follower emote. But I thought I don't have access to follower emotes yet. I thought everybody did, but apparently it's in beta and not everybody has them yet. So you guys have them now, and that will become a follower emote when I can. I'm not casting long rest this turn, yo. But until the rest of them are finished, you guys can have it for now. I'm just going to have blocks up with Spoils of the Hunt. So if they try to get me with a combat trick on the Blink Dog, I can get them back. I'd really like to trade off one of these creatures before I fire off the long rest. I want to get at least 3 cards off of it. I think this is where we need to go for the Blink Dog, though. Whatever combat trick they got, we need to just get it out of their hand or move along. Because that with the mace is scary. The other things with the mace I could probably handle. I really want to trade off one of these creatures and long rest back 3 cards. Because we're a little low here. So I'm going to see if they'll offer me a trade, because I'll take it. They've got something, I just don't know what it is. I'm not in a rush, but if I can trade off any of these and long rest them back, we're certainly in business. Because right now I just don't have anything else, but we could draw a Spoils of the Hunt, a Cursed Idol, and a Ranger. That seems good to me. Well then. Let's do that. But we can do this for 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see if they are ready for this jelly. They were in fact ready for this jelly. Okay, I'll take a hit. More of a jello shot now, isn't it? I was so excited about my jelly. Yes, it would come into play as a 0/0 and die. So getting it out of the hole is really impractical. That's going to be a bit of a problem. It's an awkward turn not to have Hunt up, especially because they know about it. And I've got so much mana, I could probably fire it off next turn, so I don't think we play that this turn. I don't want to go for it. Like, let's say they attack with the Roper, I would want to double block it, but I'm not going to double block it if I'm tapped out of Spoils of the Hunt, and they know I have the Spoils of the Hunt. They've also had some sort of instant they could be using that they haven't. Yeah, this is incredibly awkward. Because if they had their own Spoils of the Hunt, I'm in a lot of trouble. I think if I'm going to block this, I have to put the wolf and both owl bears in front of it. So that I don't get blown out by one Spoils of the Hunt. Acceptable. I'm holding these lands in case we hit our Druid class, but I really should only hold one for that, I guess. No, I should hold two. How many equipments you running? A lot. Those are the best smiths I've ever seen. Yeah, you're going to have to go down, buddy. I still have no idea what the instant they have is. They're on 18, I'm on 19. I don't think they're playing a weird deck. They've just gone into equipment and white-green. This is unfortunate. Because I need a little something something. And Armored Pegasus is not what I need here. This is where drawing our 6-drop would be swell, or the Druid class. Even the dude that fetches out the Druid class would be useful. Because I've managed to neutralize a lot of their equipment, but not all of it. And they can still get pretty good value sending this in. Okay. Whatever that last card is, they are holding on to it. We had just a couple more non-lands, please. Finally. Thank you, Scary. We're going to have to make a tapped land, but at least we'll have one. I think a 9/9 is probably good enough. I can't think of, like, whatever it is, it's an instant, I think. I might be able to start pressuring them in the air a little bit. Yeah, I guess it could be the treasure prompting them. That's fair. That's fair. Hunt could have been the instant, and the treasure is still prompting them. Yeah, but I mean, sure. They're not, I don't think they're going to make that block, and if they do, we're happy. Dag nabbit. Okay, is that non-land? It is, so at least I get to keep the 11/11. I think we're happy enough for these to trade. If this is a unicorn, isn't there also a bicorn? So if a unicorn is a horse with one horn, and a bicorn is a horse with two horns, then isn't a horse actually just a corn? They still mill first. There's a quadricorn? Okay, so I'm just calling horses corn from now on. So the question is, do we want to try to get aggressive? Because I could minimus containment their basilisk and attack for a significant amount of damage. We could minimus their hole and get another big land critter, which is kind of the same as killing the basilisk. Oh no, it's not going away. That doesn't do the same thing. Yeah, I think I want to hold one more turn, because they're not that far away from making a 4/4 death touch. If it turns into a treasure, then Portable Hole wouldn't be leaving the battlefield, which means we're never getting the Druid class back. If we could blow up the artifact, we could get our Druid class back and do that. So I don't hate sending in the layer of the Hydra here. Because this is a free trade-off for the 1-2, or at least should be. This would be a 10-10. Feels like it's starting to turn in our direction. Good day, Terrell. Okay, we got there. Yeah, whatever it was, they were holding it up the whole freaking game. We still haven't really seen... We've seen most of their deck at this point. We haven't seen any flyers. We've seen some combat tricks, a hunter's mark, multiple equipments. The half-elf monk is very good against all that equipment. Still feels weird not to be playing meat in a tavern, but... I also don't think I'm competing with them with the equipment. We're going to review Jacques' draft on stream after I finish the YouTube draft. So he may not want to say the record here. No, I do not believe the overrun is good here. It's very likely that we're going to be on the defense, especially on the draw. It's very likely that we're going to be on the defensive for most of the game and then finally stabilizing and getting them. One card I'm thinking I might want is Bull Strength, but I don't really have room for it. Yeah, I'd like to get Bull Strength in here, but I don't think there's room, right? Because I can't cut a creature, so I'd have to cut one of these cards, and I don't want to cut one of these cards. I suppose I could sort of cut a creature with the idea that Druid class could do it, and the Pegasus isn't actually doing anything here. Okay. Because that can give me kind of a combat trick that I don't mind using offensively or defensively. And it can be pretty cute with the Basilisk. And it can beat their, or at least trade for their +1/+3 combat trick. I had a dream about Meat Man. Is Meat Man a person? I am not familiar with Meat Man. I never got into Adventure Time. I know a lot of people who enjoyed it. So how much damage am I supposed to take off with that roper before I kill it? It's kind of what this is for. I hate ramping them, but they've got a 3-mana 4/5. I may have to make this trade too, which I don't love. I'm feeling a bit flooded. Chocolate boyfriend? That's interesting too. Okay, now I don't have to stress about whether I trade these or not, so that's kind of convenient. Let's see if they are ready for this jelly. It's not even bad to get in the graveyard for long rest. It's a 1-drop. I liked being Puppy Cat better than Adventure Time. But that didn't get enough episodes. I want more being Puppy Cat. I'll trade you. Gotta get them life totals lower somehow. You know, I was really into the Venture Brothers, but there's something problematic with one of the characters, and I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. I don't know why this needs to be here. I don't know why anybody thinks it's funny. And it turned me off to the whole show. So I'm going to get another arbitrarily large thing next turn. I think I'd still be pretty happy to trade off the jelly. The problem is if they move the equipment over... Well, if they move it here, I could still block there. If they move it here, I could still block there. So I think it's only the jelly that has a decent attack right now. I was just not interested in that. So if they want a 2-for-1 themselves to kill this, how do we feel about that? I think pretty good, but I also think offering this trade might just be better. I would not suggest Adventure Time to anyone, no. Or, excuse me, Venture Brothers to anyone. Adventure Time I've heard a lot of good stuff about. But Venture Brothers went to a weird place, and to me was no longer funny. Now the place this draft went to, I'm pretty happy about. I mean, it's Sergeant Hatred. That's the problem. That character is not interesting. The predilection he has is not funny. It's not humorous. It's abusive. And I just don't want to watch it. once that guy became a main character, I was like, cool, enjoy your crappy show. These are my thoughts on the matter. Well, now I watched it long enough to see him go from the background to a main character in the show. And then I saw previews for the most recent season they did where he's again a main character in the show. Like, for me, people who abuse animals or children, that's the line. If your TV show has that in it, I'm not going to watch it. Like, I can remember, I suppose I also have a soft spot for people who are good parents. I remember I met a dude who I didn't really have anything in common with. He didn't strike me as like the most intelligent person I'd ever met on the planet. And I didn't particularly like him. And then I saw him having a tea party with his 2 daughters and giving them all of his attention. And I recognized this guy is a phenomenal dad to his kids. Like, he loves them, he wants them to be happy, and he has no issue stopping watching the ball game to go have a tea party with his daughters. And I was like, this guy is A+, and he has an emotional intelligence that most people can't touch. Okay, Magistrate, if you want to be on the side of child abusers in media, you go ahead. But like, that's the moment where I just don't want to watch it anymore. Venture Brothers. That was a TV show I really liked, and then I got grossed out. And I was like, yeah, I'm not watching this. I know, Magistrate. I'm messing with you, and I'm sorry. That's a rude thing for me to do. Like, maybe the show did get better. For me, I have a hard line. And once media goes into child abuse, even if it's just a little bit, and even if it's supposed to be funny, I'm out. I'm out. Yeah, it's fictional. It's fictional. This is an awkward spot for the cleric because I don't actually want to draw the enchantments. I need lands, so I'm just going to play it as a 3/2 in decline. But I'm messing with you, Magistrate, and I apologize. I shouldn't do that. This is a really awkward draw. Just need to hit a couple lands. And you're welcome to draw your own lines where you want them. And I don't think anyone that enjoys the Venture Brothers is a terrible person. There have been a lot of shows that I've had to cut short because of something like that. Where it's just like, I don't need to consume media that includes this. Quite the trade they're offering me. And I'm also a hypocrite when it comes to this. And sorry, YouTube, but I mean, sometimes chat is going to be more interesting than the gameplay, and this is one of those times. Like, we've been watching Trailer Park Boys, and I think that includes things that most people would argue is child abuse. But it's obviously for comedic effect, and they're obviously not hurting the children. And that, to me, just is a different scenario. This thing's got to die. I may as well get the damage in while we're doing it. And we've got tons of action left. It's Ward 2, right? So what if this was just a worm treasure? And I try to be more open. I just, like I said, it's a hard line for me. If media contains depictions of child or animal abuse, I'm out. I don't want it. I don't care how good it is. But like I said, I'm also a hypocrite. Because there's some things I watch that do depict things that are technically that. I'm like, well, this doesn't count, obviously. Those worms really are a treasure. That's fair. I tend not to think in shades of gray. I tend to think in mostly black and white. What you talking about, Willis? They just really, apparently, really hate me getting to play things, but that's fine. I'll block them all day. I need like one more land and this entire hand vomits out. I may be able to show you how to 3-0. How to Dougie? I don't think I know what Dougieing is. So I may in fact not be able to show you that. How many do you have? They have placed themselves dead on board, which is a bit of an interesting conundrum. Cubbies? Like where you put your books in elementary school? I don't know. If I could trade this in for an owlbear and that in for an owlbear, I don't think it'd be bad. I could see upwards of 6. I don't think you'll ever get too many owlbears. Chicago Cubs? I don't really follow too many sports. But very okay for other people to like sports. I think they're just mono green stuff, eh? I used to be a little dismissive of sports, and I think I was wrong to do that. Like, it takes a lot of talent and a lot of effort to be able to do that stuff. I think what happened was I met a lot of sports people, and I was like, these people are... When I was in high school, I was the nerd, and there was the sports people, and they were rude to the nerds. And I was like, that sucks. I guess sports people are all just jerks. And then I found out this guy who was active in my chat was a sports dude. I didn't know. But apparently a pretty good sports dude. And I've entirely changed my mind. Like, all I knew was he was a guy in my chat. And then at some point, somebody told me what he did for a living, and I was like, really? Huh. Persons are amazing, people suck. And also, nobody knows who they are in high school. Yeah, that was another thing that sort of moved me in the right direction. I had a coworker, sorry, apparently it's Sim story time right now. I had a coworker who was really into fantasy football draft, and he was a jock. He was actually one of the jocks from high school that used to tease me. Not a lot, and it didn't bother me, but we were working together in our early 30s, and he eventually comes to me one day and he goes, "You're a nerd, right? And you play that Magic game? I've heard you talking about it some." And I was like, yes to both. And he's like, "So you draft the cards, right?" And I was like, yeah. And he's like, "Do you think any of that would be applicable to a fantasy football draft? Because I'm kind of mad." I was like, "Probably. Why are you mad?" And he said, "Because my wife just picked all of the players she thought looked hot, and she won our league, and I need some strategies." So I sat down and helped him figure out strategies for a fantasy football draft, and he got second place that year. And he was very happy. And we became sort of friends after that. All right, this hand does not need a mace. It really doesn't need a long rest either. But if I flood out, this gives me an option. I mean, that's the secret wallet. But I did think that was pretty dang funny. Ugh. Okay, at least they're going to take a turn off to find a path. That's good. Anyway, we've had a lot of random Travis babble in our YouTube video. But sometimes you get random Travis babble. I think everybody's a nerd about the thing they're passionate about. Like, my dad was a hunting nerd and a horse nerd. Like, he knows a lot more about guns and horses than anyone else I've ever met. One, two, three. Not really what I want to be doing with this, but it is a 1-drop. Come for the magic, stay for the babble. Yeah, you got music nerds. I got a buddy we play WoW with that's kind of a music nerd. And I like him a lot. So we've got 4, 5, 6, 7. We could gang block that and lose to their trample trick. What's up, Dwiz? They don't... Do they have their trample trick? They do not have their trample trick. 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6, 7. You'd be a sauna nerd? I believe that's just called a fin. If I can get any 3 cards I want back, which would probably be Ranger, Jelly, and the Hunter's Mark, I guess. Make that 4 cards. Can I get 4? 1, 5, 4, 2. Yeah, we can get those. I know I want the Jelly. I know I want the Ranger. I know I want the Hunter's Mark. I've got 7 mana. So I could play the Ranger and the Dwarf Champion next turn and have a board. I think I like that. Nadeem, thank you for the resub. Because they're going to be hitting us hard this turn. But this gives me stuff that'll just trade off with their board. And we do still get to draw more cards. Yeah, I suppose nerd was supposed to mean socially awkward, and I am a little bit socially awkward. I guess with the Jelly in hand, I'm supposed to play out the land. I was gonna say there's some tension with that in the Druid class, but whatever. The Druid class is just a big dumb creature right now. Thank you very much for the resub, Vadim. 5, 6, 7. I guess we're making a 7/7. Are you ready for this, Jelly? I think the cards is pretty good in green decks. The only thing I don't like about it is the same thing I don't like about other cards with that effect. Like, I can't do all the things I want to do with this turn, right? No. So we'll get it going next turn. Well, I don't think I would play Birthing Pod in most limited decks, but even Green Sun Zenith I hated because you have to screenshot your deck. But as long as you're willing to take a screenshot of your deck and put it up on a second monitor, it's not so bad. I think this is the second time I've had one, and I've been pretty happy with it. What's our deck score? If we win this, we'll be 2-0. And I think we're going to win this. Yeah. So that puts us at 2-0 currently. And this was the experimental deck. The Travis has an idea, and I think I may have found what can make the gem printer work in this format. It is my meta deck. If everybody's going to fight over black-red and pass me 3 Minimus containments in pack 3, I think I'm pretty happy consistently drafting green-white. That's slow, but I'm on the play, so it's not that bad. What are the chances opponent is playing Tarask? I don't know. That's a specific rare to think about. I suppose it's possible. I'm not sure what the reward for going mono green is. Like, you get better ramp in blue. Uh, 17 lands, Dane. You need to install the add-on and then enable advanced data logs or something like that, and then it can track your drafts for you. I want to be green-white specifically because the incidental life gain is pretty good against black-red, and everybody's forcing black-red. You don't really need a payoff for it. If you get some, that's cool. But why not just draft the deck? Yeah, I think even in best of 3. That's what I'm playing. And you've got removal for just about everything you would want. Now they can get that back if something dies on a turn where they can use it. You reckon they want a 2-for-1 themselves for this? Because I'm kind of willing to take that trade. Something's got to die first. The replays are always available through Twitch. Yes, Reed Snake. So right now, the viewer draft channel is open to everybody. So I can turn them on when I want to. I do want to be friends with Garbage Andy, and I want to invite him to the cool Discord. We're just going to take just a moment. Yeah, the draft reviews are always available in the Twitch VODs, so you can always go back and watch the VODs. I don't know that I need to change much for this. Because I've already got about the most defensive stuff we can. I could sort of see the Herbalist.
First place Kappa.
Thank you, Technoshaman. But they didn't look like an incredibly aggressive red-black deck. I'm a little scared on the draw and kind of just want another 2-drop, because like they may have the 1/3s and just didn't draw them. I don't think I actually want the Mace. I'd rather just have another 2-drop. Well, I'm glad you're here, Thangarth. All right, does it start? I've not yet started the next Stream Raiders battle. I will. I can go ahead and fire it up now. I think I just forgot to do it after we won the last one because I wanted to talk more. We've been having some good discussions today. But there, Stream Raiders is up now. I'm certainly not going to double block that. I might actually trade it for this. Just trading stuff off with the long rest is not a bad idea. Just need some lands. Don't have them. Would like to buy them, but we can't. Yeah, I need to flood. I need to flood pretty desperately. Okay, that's a start. Oh, gods, it did. Why did you do that, auto tapper? It's not what I wanted there. I am pretty displeased with that. Oh, Lord. Yeah, taking the 5 damage there is kind of brutal. Sucks to be me. Well, I think missing land drops lost us the game. Missing out on that certainly didn't help. Auto Tapper has a problem with modal lands. But I don't know that we were getting out of that anyway. But I'm going to try to zoom in here. Because usually you can trust the auto tapper, but if you get a modal land like that, it's where it's going to start having problems. That said, we probably weren't beating that anyway, so it'll be okay. Yeah, whatever type of lands it is that you're using right now are the ones that it typically has issues with, which is perfect. Really perfect. Plummet's certainly not worth it. I got plenty of ways to kill their flyer. And as far as we know, it's the only one they have. If I had less removal, we could consider it. Yes, that is the one flyer we know that they have. That and the Black Dragon. But, like, the removal I have just kills those anyway. I think I like a 2/2 jelly. Because otherwise I'm going to have to wait until 5. Yes, they have 2 Black Dragons, but I have 3 Minimus Containments and a Spoils of the Hunt. And the Hunter's Mark. I feel like they've mostly got things we can kill. I'm not attacking with a unicorn because I don't want to trade it for 2 goblin tokens. There's some potential here. Oh god, they've got Ray of Enfeeblement. Okay, there's less potential here. I needed to do that first. That's a little sloppy. I forgot about Ray of Enfeeblement, and I should have remembered it because they have shown it to me before. But I think we need to stall for a minute. They're probably going to be able to get this back, but probably not this turn. Yeah, Feign Death isn't great either. I could have made that play and just cast the spoils first. But I didn't think about it. Here it's kind of awkward because if they attack, we're going to give them back the Mythic, but Mythics be good. The fact that they don't want to attack is pretty handy. Yuck. I'm gonna lose. I didn't want to lose. That's a really fun mythic to play with. You're to 5/2 flyer that you can't kill. We got. I made some mistakes in the last 2 games, getting a little distracted with our conversations, and I've got some emails from my emote artist that I want to look at. So my apologies for those of you looking for perfect play. But in other news, there are some mythics that are really good. And I don't know that there's much you can do about it. As for the science experiment part, I think we found something that works. So chat, say goodbye to YouTube. YouTubers, if you've enjoyed what you've seen here, please do consider checking out the stream. It's at twitch.tv/Simulan. And if you really like the channel, you could give it a subscription and come back and watch some more drafts, because there will be more. Yeah, that order of play was a good lesson learned too, because I'm just not used to caring about 1 mana, but there's a lot of stuff you can do for 1 mana in this set. Either way, we'll catch you next time, YouTubers.